All right, hey, it's Dave Lockwood, and I'm taking a bike ride here on Fort Myers Beach. It's a beautiful day. It's Saturday, and we will. I'm going to head down here to the Leonardo Arms, just show you the status of the sand right there, and then I'm going to head over to Santini Plaza, and then I'm going to go all the way down the beach, and just take in the sounds and take in the sights. So that's what we're going to do this morning, and we'll end up at the end of the video. We'll be down by Margaritaville, and you'll see all the pretty people and all the interesting things going on here on Fort Myers Beach. So, all right, so enjoy the ride. So what we're doing right now, this building up here to the left is Leonardo Arms. And by the way, this is I think it was the very first complex that was on the beach. It was the very first complex on the beach at this end of the island, according to one of the history classes that I went through recently. So I haven't verified that, but that's what they said in that class. So we're going to drive back onto this property and just see where the beach renourishment guys are on as far as how far along they are. I did walk the beach this morning, and they actually have gotten pretty far. So I just wanted to show you that. So there's somebody walking on the wall, and right there, 4 weeks ago, if you fell off the wall, you had a 4-foot drop. Well, right now, that wall is even with the sand. So when that lady's walking on that, she's not very much in harm's way. At any rate, I'm going to ride you back in here and let you see what's going on. All right, so there's an excavator out there right up against the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. I'm calling it the Gulf of Fort Myers Beach. So here's what's going on. You see it? So that's what they've gotten done so far. So they're very close. You see the water coming out. That's being pumped about 6 miles down here from offshore, and it takes a lot of pieces and parts to make that work. And then that guy right there, he's creating a sediment pool right there for the water to cascade back into the ocean, but to leave the sand. So that's what's going on. So they're getting there. I mean, it's a big undertaking down here. We were told it would be 200 feet. I heard 300 feet away from this wall. So again, this wall had a 4-foot drop before they got started. So at any rate, that's it. That's our Leonardo Arms update. Now, when you're looking over at these other complexes here, that's the Estero Beach and Tennis Club, and then this pink one, I don't remember what it's called, but we did some work on that one. So, little by little, they're getting there. All of these guys are getting a little bit further along. I wanted to go check out Santini Plaza, and then we'll go by the Wyndham, and then we'll take the rest of the ride. Will be on the beach all the way down to Margaritaville. And for me, that's the fun. I enjoy the people watching. It's very, I think it's fun. So at any rate, I'm going to jump back on my bike here, and I'm on my pedal bike because you're not allowed to have the electric bike on the beach. Kind of defeats the purpose anyway. I'm trying to get a little more healthy. I feel like I've ratcheted the clock backwards. 2 years ago, I started to get really old. I had arthritis come in really hard. It had me rethink a lot of things, and I joined something called Fountain Life, which is something Tony Robbins and Peter Diamandis put together. And I learned all kinds of stuff. about metabolic syndrome is basically what I had, or probably still have a little bit, but I basically lost 50 pounds and I don't have arthritis anymore, or the symptoms have gone away temporarily or whatever. I've lost them for like 4 months now. The problem with that medicine is it lowers your ability to fight infection. And I ended up getting an infection on my hand, and it's been since October. It's still not completely healed up. So, at any rate, you see all the people walking up and down the beach. This is the south end of Fort Myers Beach, and you know, this is the quiet end of the beach. A lot of couples taking walks. Just a delightful day. It's going to start getting hot again. And I'm going to try to get across here and not get run over. I want to take you through Santini Plaza. So back inside of Santini Plaza, I don't see a lot going on. So they're getting pretty far along on this. This badass coffee place is going to be in here shortly. So we'll look right through. We'll look through the window here. Look right inside of there. Now, yeah, they're still putting the countertops and stuff together. There's a couple restaurants at the other end. Not restaurants, but boutiques. The restaurants, none of them are open yet. There is an ice cream shop that's open. This real estate vacations places coming soon. They're open. This is going to be the pizza joint. It's not open yet. I heard that Ace Hardware is getting set up right now. The Freaky Boutique is here. It's open now. Okay. And then the Islander was the first one to get open up in here. Surf Style's open. They have their own little liquor store. The Beach Book Nook is open. Leanne's is open. It's really nice to see some stuff going on down here at the end. Sweet Licks is open. I heard they were serving pizza too. So the storage unit's open. Ace, they're saying they're going to be done in a month. So that is aggressive if they are. By the way, there is a Synovus ATM here now, if you're wondering about that. And you know, we're starting to rebound, man. We're about 28, 29 months past Ian. Ian was a death blow for us. It was a hard thing to deal with. It rewrote Fort Myers Beach's history. And I don't know. It's kind of exciting to me to see things starting to get put back together. The community is getting pretty aggressive with people who haven't cleaned up their property. And we'll see if the Neptune's all the way down now. I would think it is by now. This Watco is doing this one here. This is a big job because the difference between here and when the Wyndham, and the difference between the Wyndham and the way the Neptune was built, the Wyndham, when we looked at this place to tear it down, we realized it was very, very well built. And what that means is it just means it takes longer to pull it apart. So there's their machine. They got different piles of different stuff going different places. They're probably, if they're smart, they're delaying running this stuff till after season's over with, because they're going to burn all their time up in truck time. You know, truck time sitting on the beach doing nothing. Because when you go down the beach starting about 3 o'clock and go off this other end, you're getting caught. If you go the other direction, it just takes a lot longer than normal. So in another month, they'll be able to get off this island with no problem. So interior's unlimited. They rebuilt this warehouse here, over here. Let me stop for a second and show you that. So they've been around for a long time. Hey guys, if you see our video, we'd love to do some business with you. We'd like to do your demo. And they pretty much do their own demo in-house as far as I can tell. I think we did 1 or 2 jobs for them at some point in time. You know, some guys really value their time, and they learn to use us, and it really magnifies them. But some guys, they don't see the value in it. So if you guys change your mind, we'd sure love to do business with you. So a lot of these buildings are still sitting empty. This one right here, still sitting empty. They got a lot going on. I see a lot of activity, but I don't see any residents' cars here. So a lot of stuff going on right now. There's been a lawsuit that was put into place to try to stop the 17-story buildings to going in where Red Coconut used to be, Seagate. A bunch of residents got together and filed a lawsuit. I don't exactly know what's going to happen with that. These developers, long term, I don't know what they're going to do, because I mean, the traffic is terrible here. But you know what? It's also terrible in Miami and Clearwater and everywhere else. So I don't know what to think about that. The Sea Watch is open. This building over here, they're putting a restaurant upstairs and restaurant downstairs, and I understand they've got their preliminary approvals. This building right here, Stevens Construction, is going to put this back together. These are the guys that have been dumping on people's lots right here. If you're wondering, they made a mess over there again on Steve Bogue's lot. So they're putting in the seawall behind here, behind the old Beach Theater, which is going to be a restaurant upstairs and a restaurant downstairs. That's what I'm talking about right there. So I took a 5-mile walk this morning, took my big fat butt and walked 5 miles, which I'm glad to say I'm getting healthier. I was able to do it. Last 2 times I did it, I was thinking about calling the Uber for most of the walk back, but this morning it wasn't so bad. I ended up coming down in the dark, and it's funny that one of the properties we tore down, that's the 2.5 mile point from my house. And then I walked over and walked back on the beach, and it was delightful to watch the beach wake up when I was walking back. So the blue building over there, that's our new town hall. This property over here, the old outrigger, the guys came in, put in a proposal. These are, let me think of who they are. They built the high-rise behind my house. I can't think of it right now, but at any rate, the old 7-Eleven that was over there, the city bought that. It's going to be parking for the new town hall. And the south end's starting to have some life to it. Let me see. I want to make sure that the mic's still working. Yep, it's still working. Okay. So the south end of the beach, which has been kind of pretty quiet, is starting to get some life to it. More and more of these condos are getting occupied. The one at the end of Estrelita, they're in there. They're getting their roof put on. There's one of my neighbors right there. And we just tore this one down right here. We're tearing down a little tiny bungalow down the street. We're not as active right now on the beach as we'd like to be. Can't seem to get on the list to tear these down for the city, although the city hasn't had to tear any of them down so far. They got to the 19th hour with Terry Burchard, and that was on the old, what is that called? Let me think, Junkanoo and Fresh Catch. That's where it was down there. Now they moved behind Publix, but Terry's building is still sitting there, and you know, I don't know, has a way of pissing everybody off for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess he doesn't like people messing around in his business, so I can understand that. But it does look pretty bad, and it does need to be torn down if he's not going to rebuild it. If he's going to rebuild it, he's going to have to lift it. If he goes to lift it, it's just going to cost too much. And I don't think I'd put that kind of money in a building like that right on the beach. When the property's worth so much money, you might as well put something in there decent. You're basically gonna burn that money. Because what it would cost you to rehab it, you could build something magnificent for just a little bit more. So you see all these for sale signs on these beach properties. I will look them up before I do my next drive. That was the mayor right there. I'll look them up before I do my next bike ride, and I'll tell you what they're going for on average. They're probably $3 to $4 million. So the beach renourishment it's underway. They're hauling a lot of sand in with dump trucks. And they're also bringing it in through the pipe. And that pipe is running all the way down from the town square area. It's about a 1 foot diameter pipe, and there's 3-4 pumps on it that help it. They have to keep all this stuff running all at the same time in order to keep the sand flowing. And they're running 24 hours a day right now, trying to get some protection in front of those buildings down there, that Leonardo Arms area. That's the worst. That's the area that has the most risk, and they're just now getting there. So the one building's the Estero Beach and Tennis Club. It is they've got the sand in front of that, so they're okay. Now they need to go ahead and get that sand out in front of Leonardo Arms. And they've got like 1/8 of it done, but they're right there. So it should start happening pretty quickly here. And here you go. These are all the people coming to the beach to have fun. And I'm gonna get over onto the beach when we get to this next entryway. And that's pretty much it. So a lot of new houses being built here. There's been a ton of them that have been built. I don't know what the number is. I'll ask Ed that, he might know. I noticed that there was a report out that said there were about 2,000 places last year. There were about 2,000 places to rent hotels from before the hurricane, and then after the hurricane there's like 700. So I'm gonna break away for just a second. Oh crap, they locked it up. So anyway, we're heading out to the beach. That's the one thing that the beach is missing, is places to go to the bathroom. There's a guy here taking pretty pictures of his girlfriend. So here we are, you know. The water is the same as it normally is, which is kind of murky looking. So these guys got some palm trees in, and they look like they've got the building painted. It was marked up to have the stucco pulled off for structural inspection. I don't know if they pulled it off really fast and went ahead and repaired it and put it back together, or if they decided that they didn't need it, or it passed the inspection without them taking the stucco off. I noticed that on most of the buildings, they mark them up, they strip the stucco off, they look at the concrete, see if it's cracking or whatever, and then they go ahead and give them the thumbs up or thumbs down, or they have to make a couple of repairs. Most of these buildings have been built to handle this, these new wind codes, especially these buildings, like that building right there has probably been built since 2005, which is when they came in with the new wind codes, the 150 mile per hour wind codes. So here we are on the beach. So It's spring break time, so there's a lot of people down here. And we're going to see a lot of people on the beach. And you know where we're going to end up is right down there in Times Square, Margaritaville, Lani Kai. And there will be several thousand people down there. So these buildings over here are the blue ones. They stripped that babies down all the way back to stucco, or back to cinder blocks, and they basically rebuilt those buildings. You see the gray on them? That's where they made structural repairs. So they got their HVAC systems on the roof, which is a great idea, as long as they put them on good enough that the hurricane winds can't knock them down. And those are all hurricane windows and all hurricane rated aluminum that they've had installed. So those buildings are going to be good for quite some time. I noticed they added some structural members on the other side on their porches. So, well, on their walkways. So that was probably one of the requirements to pass their 25-year inspection. So a couple of these they're almost ready. This one right here, if you notice, they put the HVAC systems down low. And I don't know, man, if we just get a Milton or a Helene again, and they're gonna get ruined again. So if you're looking at these things from a preventative standpoint, you don't want to be doing that. Now, these two right here are timeshares. That black pipe has got a huge amount of pressure on it right now. It has water flowing for 6 miles from the Times Square area all the way down to Leonardo Arms. And they're spreading it out and going out about 200 feet off of that wall. And that's going to give them buildings a better chance at weathering these storms, not having the water right up against them. Because in these storms, the water literally was splashing up on those buildings. That wall is relatively new, maybe 2 years old. And the cool thing about it, for those of us that live here, live on the south end and want to go all the way down to the north end from the south end, or if you live on the north end and want to go to the south end and back. A lot of people want to do that. It's only 7 miles, so on a bike it's not a lot. It allows you to do that without getting onto slippery, moss-covered rocks and risking getting hurt. You know, a lot of us we're not 21 anymore. So this is the Newton Park. They're using it right now for the beach renourishment. Guys are using it. These pipes here, I guess people have complained at different spots and they've buried them so you can go directly across them. This one here, they probably buried it because they're going over them with the heavy machines. They probably, you know, punctured it. I mean, being in the construction business myself, you know, you put big heavy machines on plastic over and over and over, it'll fatigue it. So I don't know how much pressure is on those pipes, if it's a low pressure system or if it's a high pressure system. Wondering, you have no idea. Hey, I don't know if that's dangerous or not, be up against them pipes. I would imagine they blow open here and there because I've seen them repairing them. So right now they got everything running pretty good. You saw the water coming out of the pipe down there. And we're gonna go into the land of the pretty people here shortly. I love seeing the kids playing on the beach. Kind of fun. It's kind of interesting how people will apologize because their kids are running out in front of me on my bike, and I'm like, hey, I apologize for being in your way, not you being in mine. I'm just thankful that I'm allowed to ride my bike on the beach. And there's a lot of people who live here that are thankful they can bring their dogs on these beaches too. A lot of beaches don't allow dogs. So, and you get people that let their dogs run, and they're potentially going to ruin it for themselves. I don't have a dog anymore. I had dogs for most of my adult life, and got tired of them dying on me, and then taking care of them all the time. So I don't know. I'm not saying I won't get another one, but for right now, I'm giving it some time. I want to do some traveling. Pretty busy. So here at Fort Myers Beach is rebounding. It is definitely getting there. We got a couple of developments that have been approved. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Some of these developments, I think they're hanging back and waiting to see what happens with Seagate, because if Seagate gets to 17 stories approved and is actually able to build it, it's going to open up the floodgates. And back there on the outrigger, I remember the name of it, it's London Bay. London Bay bought that, and they bought the old Silver Sands, which was a yellow building. They bought that whole complex too. So both, London Bay built that pretty big high-rise at the end of Bay Beach Road, and I believe there's still 10 units available. They're like $2.5 million a piece. So that is one of the booster stations for the pumping system. So they're basically pumping, that's one of several machines pushing that water. That's a big diesel motor, and that red thing on there is a pump, and it's pushing, helping. That's one of 4 of these that's pushing this stuff all the way down 6 miles. So it's quite an undertaking. And you got guys that are babysitting each one of these machines and trying to make sure that they stay running and stay cool and stay fueled up, and that nobody's messing with them. So remember what I was talking about, getting into the land of the pretty people? Seems like you get closer to the beach down here, you get to the pretty people. Well, younger people, basically. And then here, you got these guys running interference for their big machine. So that's their fuel truck. They're just going from place to place to place and filling up all the fuel tanks on all these. That's something you want to see on your beach, is big motor, big, gigantic working machines. So we're about 1.25 miles from Lani Kai. God, it's just a beautiful day. I was listening to somebody earlier talking to me. She's been here a long time, and she said, yep, it's going to start getting hot now. And I'm like, yep, you're right. It's been kind of nice. I kind of like the cool weather, but this morning I got up, it was 52 degrees. So I'm taking a long walk in like ski wear with a hat and and gloves. Because I guess I've been acclimated to Florida. I mean, I was from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was used to it. You know, 60-degree weather wasn't cold for me, but down here it is, because I've been here long enough. I guess I'm just used to the warm weather. The ocean's kind of calm. It's been having a lot of windy days lately. In the wintertime, I was talking to some guys that do marine work. In the wintertime, they're saying that the tides are very, very low. They get really low. And what that does for them when they're working on docks and stuff, this has to do with this island video that's going to be out this next week on our demolition, on Remove It Pro's demolition channel. And they got to bring a bunch of fill over to that island. and pile it up. And it's going to affect them being able to do that, because they're once they get, you know, dirt, or they call it dirt, sand to me, and they get it onto the barges to take it over there, it's going to draft so much that it's just going to get stuck. So it's counterproductive. So they were talking about waiting and doing it in December next year instead of the summer. No, instead, you know what? I don't remember what they said. Basically, they're going to wait a little while to do it until the tides are higher, the water's running higher, so that they don't get stuck as much and they get more work done in a day. And I guess it really doesn't matter, because you can put your pilings in and start building anyway, and then they can put that in afterwards. I guess it really doesn't matter. That's a very interesting situation. The guy bought a lot with 2 houses on it, and he ended up buying the island that he's been staring at. He tried working out a deal with the guy, and the guy they couldn't work a deal out, and then the guy had another guy buy it, and then the deal fell through, and they ended up buying it and got a pretty decent deal on it. You know, the market's kind of soft right now. So what we're dealing with on the beach now, in a lot of places in Florida, period, is super saturation. We got too many properties on the market all at the same time. And what happens when that happens is the prices get driven down, because the people who must sell for whatever they can get. And then what happens is the prices just they just go down. So not quite as many people out here as I thought there would be. Of course, we're still 3/4 of a mile away from where the majority where the people hang out. That's the Lani Kai, Margaritaville, Times Square. There's a lot of parking right there by Times Square, Lynn Hall Park. So the spring breaks, they all have different schools have different weeks for spring break. So for about 6 or 8 weeks, we get a lot of families, and we get a lot of younger people here hanging out, you know, just getting away from the winter cold. So these 2 buildings right here, I used to live in the one behind that. For 2.5 years, we rented a place from a lady named Nancy, and she lived in the front building. And that building got completely wiped away from Hurricane Ian. But that was a fun place. That's where we started Remove It Pros. We were living there temporarily. Well, we lived there for 2.5 years. Then we bought some places in Bonita, ended up moving down that way. And then I moved back here. Logan still lives in Bonita. So it's been quite a ride. Very interesting. Kind of feel like we won the lottery. So, you know, and people say, well, you know, because of Hurricane Ian, you guys did a lot better or whatever. And I'm like, nah, that's not true. Because we lost all those condos that we normally work in. And that got replaced by a little bit of building teardowns. So we just had our normal growth of about 10% each year since that happened. So it definitely helped that we started doing the building teardowns. We run 2 crews doing that right now. But like come May 1st, we'll run as many as 25 crews at a time, plus 2 crews tearing down houses. And then we'll do that until August or October. Every year it's different. This is another one of those pump stations. See it? So So basically what you're seeing here is this pipe right here is going out there, and it's pushing water up inside there and cooling that motor off so that it doesn't overheat. So, all right, this is the Diamond Head right here. So we're starting to get into the downtown area. And here's some of the kiddos. Daddy's telling them to come out here. This is one of the safest places you can bring your kids. It's hard for them to drown here. It's not very deep. You have to go out really far to get into some deep water. And then what they've done for this beach renourishment has even made that even better. So, well, I smell something. I can't smell nothing, and I just smelled something. All right, so that's the Diamond Head. Coming up on the Lani Kai. So there was a boat stuck out here on the beach. It happens every year, a couple times normally. What happens is they're up there having a good time or drinking or whatever, and they lose track of their boat, and the anchor pulls up, and it ends up on the beach. And then boat weighs 15,000 pounds, and they can't move it. So that's what happened, and this boat was kind of on the Beach Talk radio news for several days, where they talked about it every day. And finally they brought a truck out here and picked it up. I don't know why they didn't think to just bring a freaking trailer. They ended up pushing it back in. I mean, they had the truck on the beach, why not bring a trailer? It would have been a lot less work than what they did. So, at any rate, we do boat recovery, so I got a lot of experience with that. They probably just didn't think about it, or they didn't have a trailer, I don't know. I thought about offering them mine, but mine's brand new and I didn't want to get screwed up. So, so here we are. This is where everybody congregates. The majority of the people that come to Fort Myers Beach, this is where they hang out. You know, this is in front of the beach bar and the Lani Kai, and then Margaritaville, and then again Times Square. So this is the fun part about living in a tourist town. Just seeing all the different people. And that girl she's got a mission. So kind of fun. So if you're watching this and you're wondering why you're seeing it on a different channel and you're not seeing it on our demolition channel, our demolition channel is designed to help us. We're kind of trying to reach the world, and when I'm focusing on Fort Myers Beach, what's happening is the AI is focusing just on Fort Myers Beach for the whole channel. So we decided just to go ahead and really hyper focus on Fort Myers Beach on one channel and hyper focus on the demolition stuff on another channel. So as we get some of the things we've been working on for about 1.5 years done, it's going to give us more time to focus on this. We're basically going to have two pretty dominant channels. Now the Remove It Pros channel is, I don't know what you know about YouTube, but at 46,000 subscribers in 1.5 years, it doesn't even matter how long it takes you to get there. That puts you in the top 2% on YouTube. And what we're planning on doing is, is, you know, promoting how we do our junk removal stuff, and promoting how we do our demolition stuff, and you know, just building the community around all that. It's helping people, having some impact. So that's what our goal is. Our goal is we found something really cool, really neat, and we just want to show other people how to do it, because we can only do so much of it ourselves. And it's a really good thing for everybody. So right here we are. We're in front of Margaritaville right now. And this guy that serves up this ice cream here, They've been on the beach for doing that for 30 years. So I know the guy's name's John. When I went to Beach Baptist there for a while, I knew him pretty good. So, but they got 2 of these down here. And when I get down here, it's kind of like playing dodge 'em. So, oh. Well, I'll tell you what, being 50 pounds lighter makes a huge difference in my life. And then getting rid of that arthritis that came with it. Wow, what a blessing, you know? So that's pretty much it for the day. I'm gonna ride on down to the end here. I think I'll come through the crowd and I'll go run up to Wahoo Willie's around Margaritaville, and then we'll call it a day. So this is where the majority of people, this is where the public comes. There's most of the parking is right here. So they'll come to here in droves. Whereas if they went to the other end of the island, plenty of places to park. But I think everybody's doing what I'm doing. I just like seeing all the people. So, very right, I'm gonna look at how many people are out here. This is just amazing. But hey, it's Fort Myers Beach, and we're rocking. We're doing really well, you know. I mean, when you're thinking of Fort Myers Beach, mostly you're thinking of the beach, and the beaches are just fine. Now, we don't have the support structures that we had. We don't have as many businesses as we did have, but we do have plenty to keep everybody rolling. Plenty of places to eat, plenty of things to do, and it's a fun thing. So bikinis have definitely gotten smaller. So I am going to head back over this way. So this is what I talk about, the land of the pretty people. Getting the hair the eyeball out of that guy because he doesn't like me walking around with my camera. So this is where they had the bathroom facilities. They were raised up about 5 feet, and Hurricane Ian just pummeled them, and they demoed them. If you look over there, right there, that's the pier. The pier's gone. They're saying 2027 is when they're going to get it back fully functioning. And you know, pretty much this is pretty much it. So it's Dave Lockwood, Remove It Pros Demolition, and this is our Fort Myers Beach channel, My Fort Myers Beach, and I'll see you on the next video.